Hello everyone, welcome back to Grand Prix Nashville. Fancy a coffee on this Sunday morning? Tristan Sommer does with his sleeves. It is time for round 11 of Grand Prix Nashville 2012 with me, your host Rich Hagan, and Mr. Ben Sports. In the analyst's chair, it's Reed Duke against Tristan Sommer. There you see Reed Duke. One of these two players will emerge from this match as the last undefeated player on the weekend. There's Tristan Sommer. In the background, you can see Craig Wesco getting ready for his match against Christian Valenti. Those two are at 8-2, but these are undefeated, 10-0. So let's get to it. Reed playing blue-red. What about Tristan?
Tristan's playing a sort of standard green-white deck. I don't see anything too out of the ordinary. He only has one travel preparations in his deck, so nothing too good. But yeah, and he's got two Butcher's Cleaver, which should be interesting to see if Reed has some sort of artifact removal.
So we see that a fling has gone away.
Thanks to Desperate Ravings from Reed. Reed's deck, from what I saw from the draft and when I talked to our technician, Nate Price, who recorded the draft, is sort of a crazy blue-red deck, as you stated. And
yeah.
It's interesting to see.
Lots of graveyard going on.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how he progressed to that deck when we look at him and we watch his draft later.
So we've got Hammer Watch Keep for Reed and Orchard Spirit for Tristan.
And Faithless Looting for Reed.
You're going to see that a lot in this match because he has 3 of them.
So this is going to be a old versus new, maybe. The normal green-white deck that everybody and their mothers drafted versus a blue-red deck. Faithless Looting?
Has your mother drafted the green-white deck?
Well, my mom's never drafted before, but
all right, so not everyone and their mother.
Maybe
unless you like 2HG, I guess. Sorry, Mum, just click here.
So it looks like Reed will go ahead and discard a mountain.
So there's the blue for Reed. As Tristan will send the Orchard Spirit, because despite creatures on Reed's side, functionally they're not there right now against an Orchard Spirit.
Yep. No flying creatures from Reed.
Another small card with a little upside, Orchard Spirit, I like very much. Probably more than I should.
That card's very, very good.
I like it a lot.
Green doesn't have too many flyers. They've got some reach creatures, but...
Now, we have a Butcher's Cleaver. I believe Tristan's got 2?
Yeah, 1 of 2.
Wow.
I don't see... luckily, no Invisible Stalker.
Right.
But...
luckily, if you're Reed.
Yeah, exactly. If you're Tristan Sommer, you would love to have, 1 or 2 Invisible Stalkers.
Yeah.
Makeshift Mauler for Reed.
If you have plenty of equipment, what's the correct number of Invisible Stalkers? Is there a number that's just like too many? No, I didn't think so.
There's a number that's too many of equipment to play with a single Invisible Stalker, maybe,
right,
depending on the equipment.
Sure.
But no number of Invisible Stalkers is too many.
Just about the only card in Innistrad that the pros wanted to see gone.
Yeah. Not just the pros, lots of players.
Sure.
So Tristan Sommer's going to equip the Butcher's Cleaver to the Orchard Spirit, attack in for 5 damage. And let's see what he has post-combat. Looks like he's going to cast Burden of Guilt on Makeshift Mauler, keeping the 4/5 at bay, maybe to buy him some time to get in with his flyer. It's interesting that he didn't want to wait to use that on some flying creature, but he wants to be wary of letting the Hammer Watch Keep transform. A 5/5 out of Reed Duke might be too difficult for him to deal with. So Reed here activating Deranged Assistant to cast... attacking with Deranged Assistant and casting Grasp of Phantoms.
Yeah, go away, please. Not interested in seeing you at the moment.
It's going to take a couple turns for Tristan to get back to where he was. Cast the Orchard Spirit, equip the Butcher's Cleaver.
Yeah, super tempo.
For sure.
From Reed, which is good because he was struggling.
Yeah. Let's see if Tristan wants to equip right now, or he's holding his mana up. I think I see a Faith Shield in his hand. So perhaps he wants to block and cast that, or more importantly, he wants to hold up a mana in order to tap the Makeshift Mauler with Burden of Guilt. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to tap Makeshift Mauler with Burden of Guilt. Reed's not going to attack his Strange Assistant into the Orchard Spirit.
Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing this is Civilized Scholar coming right up.
Yep.
Love that card too.
Reed had the ability to have 2 Civilized Scholars in his draft, but he decided to take a Brimstone Volley over the second one, letting Shuhei Nakamura get a second Civilized Scholar of his own very, very late. I think those 2 players, Shuhei Nakamura and Reed Duke, were the only 2 blue players in the table.
Right. So, you said it would take a couple of turns, but a couple of turns have ticked by, and now Orchard Spirit is sideways, again, equipped with Butcher's Cleaver. Reed is down to 8. And that's a pretty awkward thing to deal with.
Yeah, especially with no flyers right now out of Reed. He does have... He's getting close to being able to flash back Grasp of Phantoms. He's got 6 mana.
Mm-hmm.
2 more will allow him to do that again.
But he needs to go 7 now, then get attacked for 3 down to 3, lay another land, and just straight up do it. So
let's see. I mean, Reed has the ability to draw a bunch of cards, go through a bunch of cards in his deck. He's got Faithless Looting and Desperate Ravings in the graveyard, along with the Civilized Scholar in play. Mm-hmm. So he'll most likely be able to find a solution to that Orchard Spirit, but whether or not he'll be able to do it and have enough time to cast the spell that he finds. It looks like here he's just going to pass the turn and allow his Handler Watchkeep to transform. And then maybe he'll use that to start getting in for some damage, but he's really got to be wary of that 5/2 Orchard Spirit. And plus, getting aggressive here can easily be negated if Tristan just re-equips the Butcher's Cleaver to the human that is Hamlet Captain and just gains 5 life that way. It's also interesting that Tristan's been holding on to that travel preparations.
Overwhelmed Bear.
Unmorbid. Reed drops to 3 life.
So it's time to do something good, Reed.
Well, end a turn.
Lost in the
wow.
mist. Ooh. Oh, I don't think so.
Faith's Shield on
Denied.
Man. Faith's Shield on the Orchard Spirit.
Above the rim.
Yep.
But I don't think so. Not in my house.
Also, then turn, Reed's going to activate Civilized Scholar.
Yeah. Need another answer, Reed.
It's not going to do it. But he will make his guy a 5/1.
So Tristan's at 15. Presumably is well out of range.
Well, yeah, pretty much out of range. Reek could conceivably deal 10 if he got rid of that Hamlet Captain this turn, but he's got to deal 10, remove the Hamlet Captain, and still have an answer for Orchard Spirit, so getting that aggressive might not be the right
Fling
way.
is in the graveyard right from at the start of the game.
Right. I wonder if he has a second Fling. Does not look like it. So. I mean, even if he had a second, it's unclear whether or not he'd play the second.
5 power of functionally unblockable turns out to be quite a clock. Even with some tempo action the other way.
Oh, I'm sorry, that Hammer Watchkeep retransforms because Tristan played both the Ulven Walled Bears and the Faith's Shield last turn.
So
Reed did find an answer in the form of Silent Departure to return Orchard Spirit to Tristan's hand.
and the captain. So he's not going to hold back and wait for Orchard Spirit and then have another go. He's just going to pile in.
Attack for 6, it looks like. And now Tristan's somewhat on the back foot. He's going to cast his 2 spells. It's going to be sort of like a turn previous, but Reed was able to get in for a bunch of damage, and it gave Reed a number of more draw steps, a number of more draws to get another solution to that Orchard Spirit. But now Tristan has a choice, right? He can cast those same 2 spells again and just have things be like they were a turn ago. Or, maybe he didn't actually want that Hamlet Captain. Maybe he's drawn something better in the meantime.
The thing is, for all that you see 6 mana sitting there, he's actually quite tight for mana in that, if he's going to spend 3 on the Orchard Spirit, well, it started with 2 for the Captain.
Yeah.
He does replay these 2. Very little else on offer.
I mean, he also needs to keep that 1 mana open for Burden of Guilt to continually tap down the makeshift mauler.
Yeah. So a lot of demands on Tristan's mana.
So Reed's going to start to declare his attack. Is he going to attack with... Yep. He attacks with the Transformed Civilized Scholar, which...
The 5/1.
Yeah. Let's see how Tristan ends up blocking. Looks like he's going to trade away his Hamlet Captain. Reed's going to mill 1 using Deranged Assistant and flashback Grasp of Phantoms to target the Orchard Spirit. This is what we mean by tempo. When we talk about tempo, it's plays like this.
Yeah. So Tristan, for about the 73rd time this game, he doesn't have 9 of them. He has 1. It's that one, and it's gone over and over and over.
It's the 4th time he's cast it.
And Reed untapped very, very quickly there. I would feel that there's something on the way.
Flashback Faithless Looting.
Yeah. So 2 cards arrive.
Reed's really hoping for like a Burning Vengeance here to get Tristan into sort of burn ring.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to cast Mirmad Phantoms. Phantasms?
Yeah.
I always get those confused. Grasp of Phantasms or Phantoms?
No, Grasp of
right,
Phantoms.
And Mirmad Phantasm.
Yeah.
That one actually, that Mirmad Phantasm, made a long lap around the table. Reed got it very, very late in the draft.
Ah.
Shuei opting to take another more powerful blue card over it. Looks like a Sharpened Pitchfork will be equipped to the Orchard Spirit. And Reed's going to block with the Mirmad Phantasm.
Avacyn's Pilgrim comes down.
But thanks to the first strike that the Pitchfork affords, Reed didn't trade with the Orchard Spirit.
So the Orchard Spirit's still there. Nothing kills it. It just keeps heading back to hand, coming down again. So Reed's still at 3, still facing Orchard Spirit. Let's do some more flashback.
It's interesting to see how players use Desperate Ravings, whether or not they look at the cards first or just randomly get them discarded.
So Reed doesn't even know what's gone into his hand yet. An island's gone away. What did he get? Has he got anything useful?
He needs something.
Ooh, passing the turn. So is that Orchard Spirit going to go the distance?
I believe it dealt almost all the damage this game, right?
Pretty much. So re-equip the other way. In comes the Orchard Spirit. Sweep up your permanents, Reed Duke. It's 1-0 to Tristan Sommer. What an awesome game of Magic. Here's a turn 3 Orchard Spirit, and 17 turns later, it kills you on its kind of 5th go-round or something like that.
And there,
that was awesome.
There you get to see sort of the archetypical game that the green-white deck's playing. Right? They play all these great creatures, these pump spells, these tricks in the form of maybe Faith's Shield, and they just attack normally, play normal Magic. Reed, I don't know why you need to go with this crazy deck with all this flashback and drawing cards. Can't you just play normal, everyday Magic?
Well, I think that's one of the big tricks that Magic pulls every so often, isn't it? It's the fact that there are a bunch of game zones, and there are some game zones that you use pretty much all the time. Let's say, the hand and the library. That's pretty much a constant whatever format you're in. And then sometimes constructed, well, maybe you don't use the red zone very much sometimes in some formats historically. And so the focus is much more about spells and not about creatures. And then every so often you get, like if you go back to the wishes, Cunning Wish and Burning Wish, and suddenly it's like, wait, my sideboard isn't just for between games, I get access to all that, and so you've got Exile and so on. And then in a format like right now, Graveyard Mantis.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole theme of Innistrad block, right? Mm-hmm. Graveyard matters, just like Odyssey block back in the day. So we've seen a lot of, interesting decks in the draft format based around the graveyard. Of course, there's BDM's favorite, Spider Spawning.
Indeed.
It's also Ben Sek's favorite, the Spider Spawning deck. He drafted it so much both on Magic Online and at Worlds with his friends that I saw him walking out with a pile of Spider Spawnings, a pile of mulches that weekend.
It's when you look in your Magic Online account after a draft format's done, and you see that there are some cards that you've got 2 of because they were the 15th pick, and then there are other cards you've got 74 of. You think, yeah, I clearly went down a particular path.
And the cards you have 74 of, it really shows what type of player you are. Cedric Phillips, he's got maybe 40 travel preparations on his account.
Yeah.
Luis Scott Vargas, maybe 45 mulches. Owen Turnwald, who knows what he has in his account? He probably has 100 of everything. He drafts so much. But, yeah, BDM I'm sure has... BDM, Ben Sek, Luis probably have more Spider Spawnings collectively than most people, almost everybody. So, players are getting shuffled up for the second game. I really want to see Reed's deck in action. I really want to see him kind of go off. That'd be a nice thing to showcase.
So a story from GDC, which is like a game developer conference. Brian David Marshall is there. And he says, most efficient game of Magic I ever played occurred tonight during GDC against one Randy Bueller. I won game 1 of our match and made some sideboard changes against his Curse of the Bloody Tome, Rule Caller's Bell deck. We shuffled, and I presented my deck. Randy then reached off to the side, presented a different deck than the sleeved one he was shuffling. I read it, so I looked at it suspiciously. Rest of the story after this game.
I see where this is going.
Maybe.
So, players start off, and looks like, Reed found his swamp, his splash color. And looks like a Lamphold Elder from Tristan Sommer will match the red creature from Reed. The Markov Blademaster from Reed Duke. And looks like Reed will use Faithless Looting. Markov Blademaster is a pretty powerful card. The problem with it, though, it's a 1/1 double striker that whenever it deals damage to an opponent, it gets a +1/+1 counter. The problem, of course, is that it is only a 1/1 when it starts out, and it costs 3 mana to play, making it very likely that your opponent already has a creature once it's come into play. Once you get in once with it, it quickly becomes a 3/3, a 5,
super,
yeah, 5/5, dealing lots of damage. But that first attack is really tough. So Reed figuring out which 2 cards he wants to discard to Faithless Looting here. He has to plan his upcoming turns carefully. And will end up casting Burning Vengeance. I think this is sort of how Reed Duke dreamt up these games. Cast Burning Vengeance, cast Faithless Looting, Desperate Ravings, get all of these flashback cards in my graveyard.
Yeah.
Start picking off your creatures. Once I've amassed a board position and you've got nothing, start burning you out. This is going to be an exciting game to watch.
I guess the interesting thing is you talked about the green-white deck playing fair. The thing is, the green-white deck, we talked earlier on this morning about putting Magic cards in boxes. So let's put this deck in boxes. A bunch of creatures, equipment, a few spells. So the green deck basically goes, make a creature, make another creature, equip one of the creatures that I made earlier. That's kind of the plan.
Pump them up with one of my spells.
Yeah, and do something with the spells. But because there are so many creatures, that's going to happen pretty much all the time. Every game will play out like that. Whereas when you look at the boxes in Reed Duke's deck, it's like, make a Burning Vengeance, the Burning Vengeance in my deck, then use all the other cards that do lots of funky stuff to make Burning Vengeance really good. So whereas the green-white deck has 14 creatures in the this is what my deck does slot, Reed has Burning Vengeance in his this is what my deck does slot.
Yeah. Tristan's deck is much more redundant than Reed's deck. Reed here is using Silent Departure to get rid of the Lambold Elder and attack in with his Markov Blademaster, making it a 3/3.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be exciting. Now that card's going to be difficult to deal with. If Tristan plays another creature, Reed can flash back Silent Departure, attacking for... Oh, it's more than 6.
Oh, yeah, it gets...
7 damage, right?
It gets silly.
3, then 4.
So there's Lambold Elder. And are we going to see? Yes, we are. It's Bonds of Faith.
Okay.
You kind of expect the green deck to be able to deal with at least one creature on the other side in reasonably good fashion. So I don't think Reed can be too disappointed that that's occurred.
I mean, while green and white may not be the colors that you think of when you think removal, usually you think of red and black. They always in formats have a tapper like Abyssinian Priest in this format, or a pacifism type effect like Bonds of Faith.
Yep.
So it looks like Reed flashbacked Faithless Looting there. And also used a Fires of Undeath on the Lambold Elder. No. He flashbacked and used Burning Vengeance to kill the Lambold Elder, discarding Fires of Undeath and Sensory Deprivation. And now Reed's adding to the board quickly. He flashback Sound Departure, replaying the Blademaster that he Sound Departured himself, and a Croon Outlaw. The only thing that stands in his way is an Elder Cathar from Tristan Sommer. Let's see what his green-white deck can cook up. Another removal spell that many green-white decks have is something like Urgent Exorcism, which can only destroy spirits.
Yep.
Or Smite the Monstrous, which destroy large creatures. I believe I see a Smite the Monstrous in Tristan's hand, so Reed's got to be careful to not make his guys turn too large.
Yes. So plenty of options for Tristan. He's got 6 cards in hand. Smite the Monstrous is there. Also, the All-Star Orchard Spirit.
Yep. And a Prey Upon, I see. Another removal spell available to the green and white decks.
So there's Orchard Spirit.
Prey Upon's going to take out the Markov Blademaster. Now Tristan can't really get in with an Elder Cathar because it already has 1 point of damage on it. It would just perish to the Croon Outlaw. It's the first strike. I guess it would do that anyway. But Reed's really, really in the driver's seat this game, thanks to that Burning Vengeance and the flashback spells he has to his disposal. So Reed's going to pass the turn back without playing a spell, transforming the Croon Outlaw into the Terror of Croon Pass, the 3/3 double striker.
Could you say that with less flavour? Come on.
Terror of Croon Pass.
That's better.
But I mean, it's also useful that he does this, right? Because on the following turn, on this turn, if he wants to remove a creature, he can flashback Fires of Undeath and use the 2 damage from Burning Vengeance to deal 4 damage. Let's see if Tristan has something to say about that. He's stuck on white mana. I see a couple double white spells in his hand, but only one plains in play.
There's the Butcher's Cleaver. This looks familiar.
And I see a Faith Shield in case somebody wants to counter a spell and bounce it a permanent.
Ooh, Burden of Guilt.
They'll be able to tap down the Terror of Grim Pass.
Much better. Well done, you're learning.
So you're saying if I crane my voice, then it's okay?
Right, it's kind of how it works.
But Reed, does he have Lost and Mist again?
Mm-hmm.
So Lost and Mist countering Burden of Guilt, bouncing Butcher's Cleaver. That's 2 spells, so the Kroon Outlaw is going to become a Kroon Outlaw again.
Mm-hmm.
And now Reed has to think about what he wants to do. He has to evaluate where he is at in this game, whether or not he wants to play a slow game, a long game, whether he needs to win quickly, or he can take his time and be
He's
defensive.
decided to take his time because he's just passed the turn in order to get the back online. That was the winner.
Terror of Kroon Pass.
Good boy. So there it is.
I mean, I think
3/3 double striking werewolf. And now Dawn Treader out. Now that's actually really good for Tristan.
Yep.
Because he gets to sacrifice it and go and get his second planes potentially.
So here we see Reed flashing back Fires of Undeath, destroying thanks to Burning Vengeance, both the Orchard Spirit and the Elder Cathar. And the way that it will end up working is the Burning Vengeance will destroy the Orchard Spirit first, and then Fires of Undeath will resolve. So Tristan will be unable to... Ooh.
Time to say no again. Here's my trick.
Faith Shield on the Orchard Spirit will give it protection from red, so that Burning Vengeance can't destroy it, and the Elder Cathar is able to put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Good stuff. That Fires of Undeath should be gone.
Yes.
That's not in the graveyard. That's gone forever.
Yep. And the Orchard Spirit gets in for 3 damage.
Yeah.
So, Reed here needing something. Again, he's stuck in this position where he's got to deal with this effective flyer in the form of
and
Orchard
the thing
Spirit.
is, this time he's had his Burning Vengeance, and he's had, has attempted to have solid use out of it.
Yeah, Faith Shield really put a wrench in his plan.
So good. Yeah. 1 mana white instance, the whole protection thing, down the years have really messed with a lot of opposing plans.
For sure. Orchard Spirit getting in for another 3 here. And looks like Tristan's going to cast another Elder Cathar. So, Reed really wants to go through his deck, use high velocity cards, draw a bunch of cards, discard a bunch of cards, be able to get more and more value out of that Burning Vengeance. But looks like here he's asking how many cards in hand, considering whether or not he wants to attack with his 3/3 double strike in the form of Terror of Grim Pass.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the last time I'm saying it
I think
way.
that, no, that's all right, that's fine. You've reached the official allowed limit on Sunday in Tennessee.
Okay.
They have bylaws about that kind of thing.
And Grasp of Phantoms.
Phantoms? Go away. Response, Dawn Treader Elk. Go and get that second plains.
He wants to get the plains before... He doesn't want to shuffle away his Orchard Spirit by
Sure.
getting the second plains. His plan was to get the second plains anyway, so in response to the Grasp of Phantoms...
Get it now, then stick the Orchard Spirit
right,
back.
redraw it, be able to cast it the next turn. Sure, it won't have the +1/+1 counter, but at least I'll still have it instead of having it in the middle of my deck.
Yeah.
So Reed might be able to burn out Tristan. Tristan's only at 9 life here.
Uh-huh.
So maybe flashback that Grasp, attack in again for 3. Oh, but...
Elder Cathar, equipped. Attack.
Cleaver, gain 5. Tristan gains 5 more life. You know, effectively negates plus more that last attack.
Yes, 14-9 becomes 9-14.
Terror of Kroon Pass will get in again. But Reed really needs to answer for that cleaver. I mean, he might have a quick answer for the Elder Cathar, but in reality what's causing the problem is that cleaver. Is he going to flashback grasp here? No. Scab Goliath instead. 6-9 trample.
Wow.
And deranged assistant. The 2 spells will retransform his Kroon Outlaw, though, but he does have the board presence he needs.
It's another good one here in round 11, as it should be, since we're playing for the last undefeated record in the tournament.
So Smite the Monstrous will take care of the Scab Goliath.
Tristan will attack again for another gigantic swing. Shuhei Nakamura wins again.
Excellent. Yeah, Shuhei, and we'll play the winner of this match.
Oh, really?
Next round.
Wow. It's pretty exciting.
They're still playing Shuhei.
Shuhei wants to know who's his opponent. We have Shuhei Nakamura, former player of the year, in the booth with us right now. Watching him. High-tech scouting. Reed at 4, Tristan back up to 13.
Reed's deck's really powerful. The problem, though, is that he really isn't able to deal with Tristan's creatures very well. Especially in this case, the cleaver from Tristan equipped to a human. And it looks like Reed's just going to pass the turn back to retransform his Kroon Outlaw to Terror of Kroon Pass.
Yep.
To give him a double striking blocker for that Cathar.
That is not going to work out, because now that Tristan has double light, I believe, hasn't he had a Fiend Hunter in there for 4,000 years?
Yeah, since the beginning of the game.
Here it comes, Fiend Hunter for your guy. Reed picks up his cards. He's got 8 mana available.
What does he have? Not another Lost in the Mist, I don't believe. Yep.
So that's gone away.
Tristan will attack in for 5, forcing Reed to chump block with the Deranged Assistant, unless he's got something else.
I mean, Reed can flashback Grasp of Phantoms on his next turn. That's sitting down there.
Right, but Tristan's still going to get up to a very high life total.
Oh, sure. I mean,
and has another human anyway in the form of Fiend Hunter to get more lifelink in.
It's looking pretty miserable for Reed right now.
Yep, so Deranged Assistant's going to get in the way, and
Mirror Mad Phantasm hits the graveyard.
On post-combat, Tristan's going to cast, the Orchard Spirit that he's had.
So Reed will reach out.
Ooh. Geist Flame. Since the Loyal Cathar still has 1 damage on it thanks to the Deranged Assistant blocking it, that will take care of it.
Okay.
Where will Tristan put the 2+1, or the 1+1/+1 counter, or the 2+1/+1 counters?
What?
He puts...
And then...
He puts 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Yeah, flashes back Geist Flame, and uses Burning Vengeance to take care of the Fiend Hunter in response.
Okay. So he has Grasp of Phantoms available to send the Orchard Spirit away. Still not in great shape, let's be clear.
What's most called due to graveyard?
Grasp of Phantoms is in Reed's graveyard.
Only one?
Yeah.
Bonus commentary from Shuhei Nakamura, ladies and gentlemen.
Looks like Kroon Outlaw will get in. the 2/2 first striker. No reason that Tristan wants to block with the Orchard Spirit.
No. If Reed pulls this match out, you really will be seeing why he's among the finest players in the world.
And looks like he's going to flash back that Grasp of Phantoms, targeting his own Outlaw, destroying the Orchard Spirit. Wow.
Uh-huh.
It's good.
So, only 2 non-land permanents in play deep in game 2. It's a Butcher's Cleaver for Sommer. It's a Burning Vengeance for Reed. Loyal Cathar.
Another human to equip to that Butcher's Cleaver.
But we're going to see more Burning Vengeance action. Oh, no, maybe not.
Well, the Prune Outlaw he has to replay.
Yeah.
So why he targeted his 3-2 guy?
You're asking me? What are you, insane?
I'm not sure. He wanted to get more value out of his Burning Vengeance, but ooh,
Lost it.
lost a Bone to Ash
Bone to
takes
Ash,
care of
counter and draw.
the Thrabin. I want to say Sentry, but I know that's wrong.
Faithless Looting.
Thrabin Heretic.
Yeah. Which messes with the graveyard, of course, so that was a big thing to counter.
And Faithless Looting Flashback will take out the Loyal Cathar, turn into
Yep.
a Unhallowed Cathar. And then this might allow Reed to get in for 2 damage. But not before playing Henwer Watchkeep.
Yeah, so that comes back.
He wants to hold it.
Yeah.
The Unhallowed Cathar comes back. He wants to hold the Prune Outlaw so that he can block the zombie.
Tristan lays a land and things swinging back the way of Reed Duke. Equip. Pass. Reed. With Transform. Got a Burning Vengeance in action. Oh, what a game.
From a game we thought that, Reed would be unable to win, going from that to this board position, that I don't see how Tristan can get out of this.
Well, let's see what Reed's up to next.
Faithless Looting?
No, Desperate Ravings.
Desperate Ravings, yeah.
So there's the random card. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll just hurl a dice off the table. It's the middle card.
Pitchburn Devils.
Pitchburn Devils, indeed. Leaving Reed 2 cards in hand. So check this card in hand.
It's going to flash back Desperate Ravings to take out the Unhallowed Cathar.
So let's go random again.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The first card away. It's
Faithless Looting.
Oh, dear.
Thanks for putting that in my graveyard. I'll attack for 8.
Thanks, mister. Beat you about the head a lot. Make a check this card.
Civilized Scholar, I believe, in this case. And that will be game 2.
Well, that was quite the game.
So we're going to go to a third game between Reed Duke and Tristan Sommer.
So we'll finish off the tale of one Brian David Marshall and Randall Bueller. So as we left it, Randy then reaches off to the side, presents a different deck than the sleeve one he was shuffling. Eyed it suspiciously. The conversation goes, Randy, it is 43 cards. Me. Okay, I win. I sided in a Bramble Crush. Randy, well, you can't win if it's your last card. Me. I guess so. Randy, show me the last card in your deck. Shows not Bramble Crush. Randy, show me Bramble Crush. Shows Bramble Crush. Randy, good game. Such a great card, Lost in the Woods. And when I say great, I'm not talking about it in terms of quality, but I'm trying to think of comparable cards that have created so many fun stories in the game. Like whether it's you got beaten by it, whether you sideboarded into it desperately and it didn't work, whether you thought it was going to work, and whether you played the entire game before the penultimate card was Silver Chase Fox, or and then they bashed you for 109 on the last turn. There are just so many great stories around that, and the fact that it came to light at the Pro Tour was just awesome. That there's someone sitting there on day 2, drafting away, and going, "Yep, I think this is going to win," and it. Not Jeremy Neiman, though, alas, didn't work out.
Yeah. know I've tried it once. Didn't work for me. When I tried it in a draft earlier this weekend. I boarded into it not because I necessarily thought it would give me a better chance, but because I wanted to have fun. I wanted to live a little. I didn't draw it. I kept mulliganing. You can never draw it in your 40 card decks. It's ridiculous.
So we're away with Assistant on the left and Hamlet Captain on the right. Tristan now adds Elder Cathar. You would feel that Tristan is favoured, shall we say, to not lose the match, in the sense that certainly it was a pretty quick game one, a very long game two. Reed doesn't look like he's set up to win particularly quickly, whereas Tristan kind of is.
Yeah, he's coming out of the gates really quickly here in game three, but...
So, silent departure, let's slow things down.
Civilized... no. Hanweir Watch Cube.
Yeah, and now, so that a lot of that tempo's gone away. We're going to see a Faithless Looting hit the graveyard. 4 mana for Tristan. We must be wondering what he's going to do to get rid of the guy. Really.
Yeah,
1-0 up. All over Reed.
It looks like Tristan has boarded in an Executioner's Hood that's sitting in his hand. Another equipment.
All right.
In his heavy equipment deck.
So why would he do that?
Well, Executioner Hood gives his creatures Intimidate, and obviously Tristan's creatures are green and white. Reed's creatures are only blue and red, so Intimidate is the equivalent of unblockability for Tristan.
So essentially he's looking to win game 3 the way he won game 1.
Yep. By equipping one of his creatures, attacking him for all of the damage, before Reed can get Burning Vengeance online. Because as we saw last game, once Reed gets Burning Vengeance online, it's very, very tough for Tristan to deal with it.
Pitchburn Devils now in play in the center of your screen for Reed Duke.
And Tristan cast Travel Preparations last turn, so he has the ability to flash it back this turn if he so chooses. So, let's see what Tristan ends up doing on his turn. He has an out in the form of Fiend Hunter if he needs it later on in the game.
2 mana for Executioner's Hood. 2 more mana. Yeah, let's do it this way for the... Oh, okay, for equipping. And then attack.
Yep, equip Hamlet Captain. You can't block me. Sorry, Pitchburn Devils.
Reed with single island wouldn't mind a second to turn on a couple of his late game spells.
But he does have enough mana right now to flash back Silent Departure on maybe something like Hamlet Captain. I think that's one of the reasons why Tristan's been, wary with flashing back his travel preparations, because then Reed can get a lot of value out of his Silent Departure, bouncing one of these creatures that Tristan's been so invested in.
Sounds like Ben Sek is monstering through the field. He's up to 9-2.
And that ends up being what Reed does. He Silent Departures away the Hamlet Captain before playing an Evolving Wilds, which will give him access to his second blue mana, or perhaps his Swamp, or his splash color. Tristan, though, is it going to be Fiend Hunter for him? For a move away that Pitchburn Devils? First, he's going to attack in with the Loyal Cathar. Then play a Elder Cathar.
Yep. So you notice Reed put a dice on top of his deck there, just a quick reminder to himself. Note, his end of turn is not my end of turn. I have things to do. Which he does.
Yep, sacrifices the Evolving Wilds to get a second island. And let's see what Reed does. We'll attack in with Pitchburn Devils. No reason Tristan should block that, because even if he trades away his Loyal Cathar, Reed is able to kill the Elder Cathar.
Here's Miramad Phantasm now for Reed. 5/1 flyer. Fiend Hunter, Dawn Treader Elk, and Hamlet Captain in Tristan Sommer's hand. So he lines up double plains and forest. to potentially see off the 5-1.
It looks like he might do that. Yep, Fiend Hunter. See if Reed has a response.
Yeah. So Reed has the ability to do something about it,
Yeah,
which he's now going to do, using the deranged assistant. So what happens with that? They're checking what happens. So there's Mirror Mad Phantasm.
Mirror Mad Phantasm's owner shuffles it into his or her library. Then he reveals top cards of the library until a card named Mirror Mad Phantasm is revealed. Then that player puts that card onto the battlefield, and all cards revealed this way into the graveyard.
So this could take a while. Let's see.
1, 2.
Fling.
Brimstone
Burn
Volley.
spell, Burning Vengeance is gone. Phase-Shift Mauler's gone. Another burn spell. Fires of Undeath gone into the graveyard.
It's a lot of cards.
Oh boy.
There we go.
Yeah. Let me take a look at that, shall we? Let's count the... that looks like an opening hand
Yeah, I think
left.
there's 8 or 9 cards left in Reed's deck. He's got to be careful now with that deranged assistant. He doesn't want to, mill himself, put all of his library into his graveyard, and not be able to draw a card and thereby lose via decking. But he does, thanks to Mirror Mad Phantasm, have all these good flashback cards in his graveyard. Cards like Geist Flight, Fires of Undeath, Faithless Looting.
Yeah.
Although I suppose he also milled away his swamp, so he's unable to flashback Fires of Undeath.
Okay.
And then Fiend Hunter and Loyal Cathar get another +1/+1 counter, thanks to the flashback travel preparations.
So I think this has probably been the match of the weekend so far. Just been so much back and forth, never quite know where it's heading. Mirror Mad Phantasm comes in.
Grasp of Phantoms takes care of that Loyal Cathar.
8 plays 9, 1/1.
Let's see how Tristan wants to play this game. There's a couple different ways he can play it. He can try to get in those last 8 points before Reed can attack him, or he can hold back and keep Reed's ground guys at bay. But it looks like he's going to take a mixed approach. He's going to equip Executioner's Hood to the Fiend Hunter, get in for 2 damage.
Loyal Cathar, Hamlet Captain.
Play back his creatures.
Now, you can probably hear in the background, that is time on the round. Now, whether they've got any extra time, because you often get a few extra minutes in the feature match area. It sounds like there might be 3 extra minutes. So,
The players quickly racing through their last 3 minutes of play time.
yeah, and Reed is coming in again. It's such an exciting card, Mirror Mad Phantasm.
Yeah, it was close. What if it were the bottom card?
Yeah.
A flashback Grasp of Phantoms will take out the Hamlet Captain and put it on top of Tristan's deck. Tristan then, for his turn, will obviously draw it. And he'll just go all in, attack with all of his guys.
So Reed will block as best he is able. And there's the handshake. Reed pulls it out.
Yeah, the 5/1 flyer in the form of Mirror Mad Phantasm was too much for Tristan in that game.
Oh boy. Now that was exciting. Reed Duke is your last undefeated player in the building.
It looks like he'll be playing Shuhei Nakamura for a rematch next round.
11-0. Goodness gracious me. Wow. All right, now I want to ask you about something here, in that we've just seen